fix to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Pat Riley.
Mr. Goodnight, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And today we're joined by my good friend and Colorado's finest.
Hey, David Gborie.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have David on because David's one of my favorite stand-ups, and also I've been shuffling around his Conan set to anybody who remotely enjoys stand-up comedy. You know?
I was just telling him in the car. I showed that to my folks, and so Bob and Gail Langley are new fans.
That's what I'm looking for.
Got Bob and Gail back in Alabama.
That's all I need.
They're on board.
Start a tidal wave.
Yeah, man. that was so cool. What was that? That was last month. Got to do that set on Conan.
Yeah. That was crazy. I kind of blew it in the beginning, but it ended up fine.
Was that legit? Like you actually went past? Because
I did blow it. I wish that I had.
That was like the best. That was such a funny thing. So at the beginning of the set, David walked past his mark and then had to take a few steps back to go back to the little star that they have on the ground saying where you're supposed to stand.
They have 2 stars though. That's why it was like.
Oh, you tried to walk out to Conan's star.
I think that's what happened. It's just because they don't tell you right before you come out. He comes and says hi to you.
Yeah.
So I was just in there and I was like, in your head, you're like, holy shit, I'm gonna do the Conan O'Brien program.
Yeah.
And then you just look and there's just this monster like, hey, this is gonna be real fun, right? Like, shit, man. I gotta go do a thing.
Yeah, and you have to look
like,
for a little masking tape cross on the floor, you know, so you're
It's very dramatic because they have 2 guys who pull the curtains open. Yeah, it's very dramatic. It was not, but it worked out.
Yeah,
I'm
but you walked past the mark and then had to take 3 steps back, and then you just went, "Oh shit, I blew it already." And that was such a funny. I thought that was the bit. I was like, "What a great way to start."
I wish. I'm gonna start telling people, man.
You should, because I was like, "That's brilliant." No, I've never seen that shit before. I didn't know that was an actual.
Was it a tension release at all? I fucked up now.
Yeah, I felt good because I was because in my head I said that because that's what I was thinking, but I was like, okay, I blew my first Conan. That's fine. I can recover from this. I'll just go back to doing stand up on the road. I'll be fine. So there wasn't as much pressure because I was like, oh, okay, now I blew it. That's fine. I can live with that. That's not a big deal.
Oh man,
bombed, right?
But yeah, that was, I don't know. I honestly thought that was a bit. So you're good with us. That was awesome. We're going to talk about fishing today and outdoorsmanship.
Outdoorsmanship.
The great outdoors, which I didn't know. You and I have known each other for about a year now or so, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, since I got here. Close to 2 now, I guess.
Yeah, because you're Denver people, and of course my good friend Wes, his soon-to-be wife, Kristen Rand, I think kind of brought together the Alabama folks and the Denver folks.
She bridged the gap. We needed it.
She's the bridge. And you recently did our show down in Santa Monica, and spotted you ride back to Highland Park, and on the ride we started talking about fishing. I was like,
I
haven't had to talk about fishing with anybody except these two. It
doesn't come up.
No,
in Los Angeles very much, I guess.
There's not too many outdoorsmen, but
I don't even think of myself as an outdoorsman as much as it was just. I don't know. Everybody.
Well, see, I think
fishes.
Yeah.
It's not even a crazy I'm not the hardest core fisherman I know or anything like that.
But in Los Angeles comedy, if you've done it once, you pretty much are.
Which is weird to me. I don't know how you could get to be an adult. You never nobody that never happened.
Well, when you're living on the ocean. But you know what I think it is? All the transplants, because you go down to places like Santa Monica Pier, Redondo Pier, and you'll see the Mexicans fishing all night and Asian people fishing all night.
Yeah,
man, I know it might be racist, but Asian people are the best fishermen. At times I've been around Asian people fishing.
Yeah,
their numbers they put up numbers.
Yeah, well,
in the Bay, a lot of people will only like a lot of just like Chinese guys at the pier,
Right.
Because there's stripers in there,
Oh,
and they'll
yeah,
just like all day they're bagging them. It's nuts.
It's got to be especially with like Japan just being like a waterlocked country. Thailand,
good at
it's
it.
just it's in the culture.
I think a lot of them too. They fish to eat. They supplement their diet with it. So they pull out shit and they'll eat anything. I seen one with one of them dog fishes on a pier. One of them little
little
fish.
sharks,
Oh,
yeah.
And the Asian guy goes over and goes, "That fish not much good."
Do they eat carp? Because carp are from. I was reading about that carp thing, and have you guys heard about that in Michigan?
Yeah, the carp are coming up the
carp are coming up, and they're worried they're gonna like destroy the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Is it just like one of those things like they people unleash, aquarium? No, like aquarium like fish or something like that, where they have like koi ponds or something.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
brought them in to clean the koi ponds, and they overflowed or some shit like that, where they got into it, and now it's like a plague.
Yeah.
And there's all these people trying to like kill them all because it's like they're coming. It's like an infestation.
They're cagey motherfuckers too, and they're hard to catch.
Yeah, they're like. I was reading. Man, this is so weird. This is probably like 10 years ago or something like that. I was reading in a Field and Stream about they had carp tournaments. And it was like the grossest way they fish it. Like they like set like a trap. Like you hook like it looked like a condom filled with like slop, like carp slop. And then if you've seen it, it's like a tournament. And then you just huck it way out there, and they kind of set like traps, and you do like 2 or 3 like near each other, and they come in, and you just bag huge ones. But it's like I don't think you can. I don't think it's
so
good
gross.
eating. Yeah,
Yeah, no.
I mean, you can eat it probably.
They get
but
big. I've seen big ones. Even in Colorado, I've seen like big.
They
carp.
do get big. Yeah,
They're gross.
Yeah, because I'd heard about that, and I knew it was something very much like with the Everglades, where people are just like, "Well, I bought this big ball python, and it don't fit in my aquarium anymore, so I put it back in nature, and then it just destroys the swamp."
It starts taking over.
So it was like floods or something, where it was just like koi ponds that flooded over, and then
my buddy from St. Louis, Slapnuts, would fish out. But there's bush wildlife over there, and he'd fish for carp there.
Yeah.
He fished for him. Like he went for him.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Only slap nuts.
Yeah, well, Slapnuts is dumb shit.
Classic slap nuts.
Well, my friend Chandler actually, who we actually had dinner with in Atlanta, he's at the University of North Alabama trying to figure out how to kill the carp, and then also there's an invasive plant as well that's like I don't know, but both of those
kudzu.
It's not kudzu, but it's like a waterborne. It's also from Asia, and those two plants together are like basically like deoxygenizing like most of the Mississippi watershed at the moment.
It's fucked up, right? It's like a real pressing issue.
So his whole thing is he's studying like the populations of them and how to like cut back on it. Although I think the thing with the plants in the 1930s, I don't know if you guys knew this, there was actually what's commonly referred to as the Hippo Bill, which was there were people in Louisiana during the Great Depression where there was an invasive species of plant that was taking over the Mississippi River, and some legislators in Louisiana proposed getting hippos from Egypt and from
of
the
course,
Nile.
yeah,
that's
Mexico,
though.
That's
good politics.
Yeah,
Well,
that's Huey Long right there, man. He was probably drunk and just like on a
We
stump.
gonna get some hippos.
Yeah, I know. It's on a stump speaking for 3 hours. Like, let me tell you something. We're gonna get some hippos.
Yeah.
And here.
Well, their thought was they're like, these hippos will eat the plants, and then also we'll have meat for everybody because it was the Depression.
Is that good eating?
Well, I don't think it mattered during the Depression.
They're
like
the size of a damn car, so that's a lot of food.
I feel like it's got to be good. They swim like there's probably pretty good meat.
Well, the bill obviously didn't pass because we don't have hippos, but that was the idea, was to introduce hippos to the
because Huey
Mississippi
Long
River.
got assassinated.
Yeah.
That's why.
If Huey Long
Probably because of the hippo thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a hippo thing. Could you imagine if we had a hippo problem on our hands right now? That's so much more terrifying than carp. Jesus. Oh, man.
Yeah, you're fishing and they just eat the boat.
Yeah, because they're like so aggressive.
They're savage,
too, right?
man. Yeah, they'll fuck you up.
Man, I'm glad we don't have to do like.
Thank God he was assassinated before this hippo shit.
Before this hippo, like that would have been our biggest problem right now. What are we gonna do about these hippos?
Yeah, the hippo bill. Look that shit up. It's an amazing thing that almost really went through. But
I wish it did now because we could go down there and go hippo hunting.
Well, yeah.
What do you shoot a hippo with?
Anything that you can get.
Yeah, I was gonna
You gotta
say.
get like one of those big moose guns.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
seen those guns they used to shoot the moose?
No. It was
They have these giant moose guns because, like, I feel like hippos are similar. They're bigger than you even think.
Oh,
right?
they're bigger than you think, but also you have to think like you have to think through, like layers of like the fat, but also just these huge like bones. Like,
There
have you
is
ever
a
seen
lot
the
of
they're
fats
like-
of
They
one?
make good like Magnum rounds and shit for hunting nowadays.
Where you-
They're like,
Just shoot it point blank in
hippo
the head.
piercing bullets.
but it's like
Well, you
it's
can-
the
you can
second
look for
biggest land animal behind elephants, right? Like hippos.
Oh, really?
I think it's
They are.
rhino. It's
They're really damn big though. A lot
Yeah.
bigger than you might think on TV.
Yeah, they're like. I think it's alarming for sure.
Yeah, have you guys been down to San Diego? I've seen they have the hippo like thing at the zoo. You can see them. They
I
have,
don't think I've ever seen a hippo in real life.
man, we should go down to San Diego, man. That's
I
a
went to
good
that
time.
zoo once when I was a kid, though, so maybe I saw it.
You
I
probably
mean,
saw
the
it,
way in
but,
which
yeah.
you kill a hippo is you punch it on the bandage on their stomach.
Yeah, then it's
That's
pants
how.
fall
Yeah,
down.
its pants fall down. And then, you punch them 20 times,
Thank
and then
God he was
they're
wearing
done
draws
for.
in that game because I, for one, would not want to look at King Hippo's junk just hanging out there.
Yeah, hippo junk seems like it'd be gnarly. Oh boy, that's like a whole situation.
But that's one of those like they brought the idea was to bring this thing in to take out the invasive species or
That
whatever.
always works so poorly.
It's always-
Yeah,
there's never
that's how kudzu
It's a
started.
crazy idea. It's just like, let's kill this hard to kill thing with something even harder to kill. We'll deal with it later. Like,
Yeah, kudzu, similar time period in the 20s and 30s, they thought would stop erosion.
Soil
Yeah.
erosion,
And
yeah.
also cows would eat it. It neither stops erosion and cows don't like it. So it's like now it's everywhere. The
Double
whole South
screwed.
is covered
Double
with it.
What can you introduce to get rid of a hippo?
Lions,
Little Mac, I don't know.
do they have, yeah, do they, man, because
cheetahs and shit.
but they're in the water, so they're like at
Yeah.
home in the water, so you got to get something.
Crocodile.
We could have gator hippo fights, and that is an exciting. I would gamble on that for sure.
Hippos would beat their ass, I think, because them gators, they ain't as vicious as them crocodiles they have over in the Nile. And shit.
Really?
Yeah,
Do the
but-
gators move as a unit? Also, is kind of like because it couldn't be a one-on-one. You need it to like.
What is
move-
this like in Fantasia when they all do a ballet?
I mean, I don't know what the practices are, but like, right? It would. You can't just have one gator versus one hippo. That's
Yeah, the hippo would win. You need a pack of
you need
gators.
a pack
yeah.
of gators.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
shit, I'd be willing to see that.
Yeah.
they did have that show that
At the Coliseum once?
No, well, no,
Yeah.
sort of. It
They
was on.
flooded it.
Sort of. It was on Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
Which is the
Oh, yeah,
modern.
but that was all
Coliseum.
animated shit, and there was no real violence that went up into it.
Well,
so what's the point?
They had a show where it was like, where it's literally just like stoner conversation turned into a TV show where it's like, who would win in a fight?
Yeah.
Tiger, lion. And then they would like talk about
Oh,
the physical attributes
yeah.
of the tiger and the physical attributes of a lion, and then they'd have a simulation where they fought.
I don't think there's enough room for the X factor in that. You got to count Moxie. Like that's have you ever gone to like the racetracks, like the horse tracks?
oh, fuck yeah.
That's how I pick my horse when they show.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll do a little thing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that guy to place. He's just feeling froggy today.
Sometimes they look pretty stiff when they come
Yeah,
out.
and you're like, this guy. I don't think he's got a good race. And I just went to the track a couple months ago.
Which one?
Golden Gate Downs up in Berkeley, outside of San Francisco.
Okay, so nobody. Oh, I think that's the one I went to, and I saw the Weezer concert at that time.
Oh, no kidding.
That might be the case. Yeah. They Sundays, if you're ever up there, $1 beers, $1 hot dogs.
Oh, no shit.
What?
They cut off the beers at 6 though, and you can only get 4 at a time. So what we do is we huddle around a trash can, and then we just get like a ton of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we'll just have like 25 beers on top of it, and then just kind of like.
Do they cut off the hot dogs? Because I imagine that being more destructive than the
The hot
beers.
dogs are like it all goes kind of. It depends on what time you get there, because like I think last race on Sundays is like at 7, But you get there at noon. That's like a good day.
Oh yeah.
No, man. Anytime you can go to the racetrack, especially stoned, I love it.
Man.
Get some edibles and watch the sun come down and
It
everything.
is so great. And everybody, I feel like there's this weird idea of the track as like this negative place. But it's like, okay, yeah, I guess there's degenerate jam, but there's also kids there. There's like families there. There's a lot of people.
I was born at a racetrack.
Boom. See? Are you really?
Under a bad sign, baby.
But yeah,
I said I picked this one to show.
yeah, the horse track is a lot better than the dog track. The dog track is grimy.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I heard the dog track is not.
Yeah, that's grimy. Because I mean, the thing was like, because in Florida, like you go to the dog track, and when the dog races are over, you go down and watch highlight. And you get the double, but it's just
I thought highlight was a scam.
It
is a scam.
Basically,
but
is
it is
gambling masquerading as a sport.
Yeah.
That's what the whole point is gambling.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. But yeah, no, the dog track is just grimy. You just go in there and you're just like, man, you just reevaluate.
Well, the horse
everything.
Horse racing has the human element, and it's the sport of kings. Dog racing is just like might as well be louse racing or something like that.
Dog racing is just like what your friends do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, hey man, you want to see these dogs run?
Yeah, it's just like find any animal and just race them.
That's true, because the horses, it's like they have the trainers and they're very expensive. And it's like families do it and stuff like that, like own these horses.
They have lineages going back to certain like big
it's
time.
not the same with the greyhounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a greyhound track just outside of Montgomery called Victoryland. That's
that sounds like anything but.
It's owned by like our version of like J.R. Ewing. Like
so he's just a guy that hangs out at Applebee's and just dressed as JR.
That's not like a terrible life though.
Oh no, he kills it. His name is Milton McGregor, which is it is. Just Milton McGregor, Alabama bullshit artist. How are you? But he owns Victoryland, and they had this. They basically opened Victoryland in the 70s or something. In Alabama, technically gambling is illegal, but because it's like a bingo track. Like it's I'm
familiar with that type of situation.
Some kind of weird legal workaround. But then he got a little overambitious, and in 2010 opened this hotel called the Oasis. And I remember because the opening was this huge grand opening. You got the Temptations to sing, and I
think that's a lot cheaper than you think.
Oh, I know. But for Alabama, you got to understand that's amazing. That's the biggest act ever.
Yeah, because at that point it's just like Eddie Kendricks and dudes. That's essentially what.
Right? Yeah, it's just a bunch of guys.
Although I said this is outside of Montgomery. I'll tell you the actual name of the town is Shorter.
That's Shorter, Alabama.
Shorter, as in he's shorter than he is tall. Yeah, but that place, the Temptations are far and away the biggest act that's ever come through Shorter. But the casino was open for like a month, and then the Alabama board came in and was like, "Hey, gambling's illegal," and they shut it down.
Yeah, because
that is crazy for him to have the hubris to be like, you know what?
Fuck you guys.
I'm just gonna pull the trigger on it. What are you doing?
Because it was a shorter casino than most.
Was it one of those things where you do the games and you win like Red Lobster gift cards, and you sell the Red Lobster gift cards back,
like the machines they have in Georgia when you go into someone like the gas stations and shit. You can only play for prizes.
Yeah, you go into a little champ. Yeah,
so it's like video poker, but I can just only get
gift cards to
gift cards. Yeah, and then you sell the gift cards back to the for face value or a little bit less.
Gift cards are a very sketchy industry.
Yeah, they are.
In general, like I know a lot of sketchy dudes who have like a lot of weird money tied up in gift cards. Yeah. It's a very strange world. Like it's a very weird world. Gift cards.
But yeah, so now if you drive from my hometown to Montgomery, you just see a gigantic golden casino that's empty.
Man, what was he thinking?
I don't know. But now he's just opening up, like he's finding like the tribes of Indians that are still left in Alabama and be like, y'all want to do this shit, and like trying to like open up casinos.
The idea of like a small town guy who's like a king. It's like he's like a king of that tiny. Like I met this guy in Oklahoma one time, and he's like, it was just like it was like outside of Norman, and it was just like a small town, and he was just like, my dad is the mayor. They own like a construct. He was just like the king of the town, and he just behaved like that.
Yeah,
like, and it was so crazy because his wife was like a Native American princess. It sounds so crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, so the young prince married the native wife, and he was just like living like that. We walked out of a wine bar, and he just smashed his glass on the ground and kept walking. I was like, this dude's gonna live forever. Like, it was cool. It was like, but like in that area, it's all regional. So like, yeah. He was telling me a story of like him going to jail, and like he was like, you motherfuckers can't take my boots off. Like they were like, take your boots off. And he was like, I fucking am this town. And I was like, dude.
Yeah, every town has
a king. There's like kings.
Yeah, every town has a king. Like it's always like
it sounds like a setting of a Billy Jack movie.
Yeah, it's always the guy that owns the biggest construction contracting company in town, or the guy that owns the Ford dealership. Bar none. Like it's always the my town. It was the guy who owned the Chevy dealership.
Yeah, and he was just a man about town.
Yeah,
right?
and his son could do whatever he wanted.
Oh,
in town. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's still like that.
Oh, mine is worse than that. The king of our town was the guy who owned Jimmy's car stereo.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Jimmy was dirty, baby. Dude, Jimmy,
small town politics.
Jimmy was into some fucking crazy shit. Dude,
it's so weird.
And meanwhile, you'd see him on TV. He'd go. It was like a guy sitting on a computer, and he's like trying to log on to the internet, and like Jimmy's hand reaches through the screen and grabs his hand as he's moving the mouse around, and you just see Jimmy in the screen, and he's just like, "Why are you shopping for a new car stereo on the internet? Where are you going to buy it? Where are you going to get service at?"
That sounds like a horrible version, like a horribly bootleg version of the Aha Take On Me video.
He was actually the second person to use rotoscope. I wonder about that because like, how many people really have and service car stereos? Like really? If you're not like a teenager, like unless
it gets stolen.
Yeah, my mom has never needed a car stereo. How do you live in a small town and make enough to live? That's got to be a front, right?
Yes, yeah. I'm sure it is.
Oh,
allegedly. Please don't.
Maybe he was cooking speed or something.
I mean, we call it high-speed chicken feed down there, but yeah. Where did you grow up?
I kind of bounced around a lot. I was in Washington State until I was about 12, and then we moved to Aurora, Colorado for a year, and then my formative years, I guess, Elizabeth, Colorado, like 40 miles southeast of Denver on the high plains.
Okay, and what's
other direction on the mountains? The ugly side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just brown.
Yeah. So what's the fishing like down there? What are you fishing for mainly?
We would fish bass a bunch because like around where we're at, there's a lot of good bass ponds and stuff. And then if you go North Denver, like way out past 110th Street, past all the trailer parks and stuff like that, there's all these little just weird ponds on private property. Some of it's getting developed, some of it's not.
Yeah,
you can kind of sneak in. My buddy we'd have headlamps, and you just sneak in late at night and grab a lot of bass, and then like,
oh man,
you go to the reservoir at dusk or dawn and cats, and then a buddy of mine ended up getting a boat. Really tried for walleye a lot of times in my life. Yeah? Got skunked. I've gotten skunked every time I went for walleye, and I've gotten skunked every time I fished for sturgeon in my entire life. But yeah.
Where did you fish for sturgeon?
Washington State, like off the coast.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was so gnarly to see them because they got those big ocean pools too, man. And you just see guys like off the rocks. You know what I mean? Just off the side of the highway. And yeah, I've done that a few times and nothing.
I've never done sturgeon fishing. What do you use for bait?
I don't even remember. I was a kid. I don't know, like 4 or 5 times. I think it was like just a little live bait fish. I don't think it was anything crazy. But yeah, they're fishing right off the water.
They get to be big motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're like dinosaur
alligators.
Fish. Yeah. They're crazy. Oh, also ice fishing, like those little kokanee salmon. You ever seen those things?
No.
They're like probably like trout size.
Oh, okay.
And just like ice fishing in the winter, just like with little spoons,
Is that in Colorado?
That's in Colorado too, in the mountains in the wintertime.
Oh, okay. So
that's not ice fishing is not really my bag. It's fun, but it's I don't know.
Yeah.
Cold.
It's like,
never done
and
that
it's
one.
like,
Never
man.
done it either. Too cold.
Yeah, and you're just waiting to see flags pop or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
you're
I mean,
waiting to
that's all it
see-
is.
I mean, you're going because you get to use the auger, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the coolest part of the day.
Yeah.
And then it's cool to sit in a tent and, drink booze and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's not the most exciting because you
Did
just
you
like,
build
Or
the
as they
fire on the ice
call
and
it, as they
everything?
call it on.
not a fire, but my buddy had like one of those ice, like not like you see in Michigan, they have like the houses, like the nice ones.
Yeah.
He had one of these like tents that you get at Cabela's or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like a little room, but it's not like that cool. I mean, it's fine.
Oh, the one that double as a blind.
Yeah. And it was, that'd be fine. I just don't like when you walk out onto the ice because you don't realize the ice is constantly setting. So when you walk
It's fucking
out,
scary.
you just hear like ping, like it's like a ping, and then you can feel it like the crack like shoot off across.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Out into oblivion.
The power auger, as they call it on Fishing with John, the dangerous and a powerful power auger.
It's so
Yeah.
stupid. It's really fun, but like when you're doing it, you're like, this is dumb that
Yeah.
like somebody
Many men
popped
have been killed by the power auger. It's a big drill,
Yeah.
essentially. It looks like it's like a mixture of a jackhammer and a drill, essentially.
Yeah.
Like a pneumatic drill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you ever use like a 2-man auger for like digging like holes and shit like
like
that.
where you put
like the
where-
same
how you
same
set
thing
your-
but smaller.
Yeah. How you set your mailbox.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. It's like it's really fun to use, but it's like when you're using it, you're like, this is fucking dangerous. But I had a buddy, my main buddy I used to fish with. One year he just got really into ice fishing, and he was my roommate at the time. And I would go in, and he'd be like, "Hey man, look at this!" And he's just watching YouTubes of like those Michigan guys, like who roll the RVs on the ice.
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And just like for a winter, we got really into ice fishing. This is the weirdest, but I like bass fishing personally. That's
Yeah, me too.
Spring Thaw, because we had a place that we would go, and sometimes because we're kind of dickheads, like especially this is like I was like 18, 19, we would throw tires in the winter, and then for Spring Thaw we would know where we threw the tires, and then they spawn in the tires.
Oh yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. So,
You could do
like,
the same thing with a Christmas tree.
Christmas tree, that's-
That's what I've heard too. It's
Yeah.
like this. It's the same situation.
That's what my
right?
dad does
He tosses a Christmas tree.
for years now. So there is a spot on Lake Harding near the Georgia-Alabama border where my father's been dropping our Christmas tree
That's
for as
a
long as
good
I remember,
move.
and that's where he goes fishing.
Yeah, that's a great move.
Yeah.
man. Like you get guaranteed.
yeah.
But yeah, I like fishing call, but mostly bass stuff.
Oh, okay.
Just because that's like the most aggressive. Like my friends are like ex-speedheads, so they're just like, I just gotta walk around and like it's got great action. I got this rattle trap. You know what I mean? They got stupid ones too. Like, have you ever seen? We would fish these small ponds and we'd have these big, huge rattle traps. Like we're gonna get. Are you gonna get any? There's one fish in this pond that's gonna eat.
like you're
you know
gonna
what I
catch
mean?
a dolphin or something.
Yeah. Like they're just like a little too aggressive.
Yeah.
Did they have boats or anything like that, or like?
My buddy now has a boat, and he'll like do trolling with those
Yeah.
like big treble hooks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And like he likes to go out at night a lot because he's got like a big bail out here. He's trying to get one of those. What are those ones with the shallow hull? The bass tracker boats.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to get one of those
Yeah.
fancy jobs.
I have to say that I read Field and Stream all the time too, and it is amazing the amounts of gadgets and shit you can get.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so-
That seems like the industry to get into.
Oh,
fishing
yeah.
gadgets. Yeah, I
you
think
could-
so.
you could-
Fishing,
It worked for Ted Williams.
hunting,
Yeah.
Outdoor stuff. There's so many damn gadgets you can get nowadays to just go with your traditional shit.
Yeah,
You know, you
it's
read
like-
the old Field and Stream was ads from Marlboros and like, just like tackle boxes.
Yeah.
Now there's all the deer cams and everything else you can
wait,
get.
Everybody's got 2 fish finders.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, if you watch like the new American Sportsman on ESPN or something like that, the commercials on there, like it's just as high tech, like straight out of the military, but adapted for deer or fish or what have you.
I-
You
For
think
one,
that
can't
stuff
wait.
works?
Probably not.
Whether it works or not, it's a shit ton of fun.
Yeah,
is the
That's
point.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. It makes everything like more excited.
I got to say, those game cameras have not yielded what I was looking for. When I first heard about it, like, oh, they're going to strap cameras to the trees out in the woods in order to take pictures of game so you can assess what kind of numbers you're talking about. my first thought was like, we're gonna get so many great pictures of drunk rednecks wandering through the woods that thing's gonna catch, and those pictures haven't materialized. I've just been waiting for the day.
They're there somewhere. Somebody has like a
somebody's
Tumblr.
got one of just a fucking Aloysius wander, just like shit faced through the woods.
Yeah, it's just all bleary eyed.
And then he gets a bunch of his cameras start flashing. But what the hell?
And they have that same eye glint as the deer themselves.
I pissed on my deer piss.
Just walking around like Bigfoot in the Patterson film.
Where is Bigfoot? With all the deer cams and things nowadays, where are the pictures of Bigfoot?
That's the other thing.
It's imaginary. I mean, I don't know. You guys think there's anything in the woods that nobody's seen? I've been in the woods sometimes at night and just definitely, like, sober or drunk, definitely been like, there could 100% be something out here.
Yeah, well, you totally get why, like, that, you know, that sort of mythology grew out just if you've spent any time in the woods, because at night especially, you know, because certain, you know, if certain geography, maybe the way the landscape is or whatever, just the smallest little noise can echo around and sound fucking horrifying. You know?
Yeah, no, I don't even like the woods at night anymore. I'm honest about it. If I'm gonna go camp, let's go camp at the dunes or like a lake or something.
Somewhere where it's quiet.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking the woods at night.
I sometimes like it just for the thrill of the terror of it all.
It is scary.
If you're
Like you
with
wake
other
up and
people.
you feel like you did something.
You think like there's gonna be aliens or Bigfoot or
Anything could
Freddy or
happen.
some shit.
Yeah.
Especially when like the fire starts dying down and everybody's asleep and you're like, shit, I didn't get drunk enough. I'm just like awake, looking around.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is the goods in the woods.
I was gonna
right
say,
now, you understand?
but you can totally understand where that sort of like, you know, legend or whatever grew out of.
Yeah.
Just because it is, you know, sometimes it's scary when you're out there. You know, I'm a, you know, I've said this before on the show, but I'm a Fox Mulder type. I want to believe. I would,
Okay.
you know, I'm not, you know, I'm not willing to write anybody off. And there are people who, you know, who are honest people who say they've seen some shit in the woods, and it's like, hey man, I bet you have.
I believe it. It seems like it's so easy to want to down it, but like. The woods are just so massive.
It's huge.
So dense.
Yeah.
And just like, especially like you go up in the mountains and you're just like, this goes forever. There could be anything.
The cliche of fishing is everybody's got to have a good fishing story. What's like your biggest triumph as far as like a catch?
I mean, to be honest with you, I've spent
right.
a lot of time on tests. I'm not a very good fisherman.
Really? You just-
I know how it works.
That's the
I
point.
know how to fish, but like I'm not.
Fishing only for some people is about the actual fishing. It's as much about drinking beer and just doing nothing.
Yeah,
fishing
I mean,
itself.
I like it. I like fishing because, like, especially growing up when I was in Elizabeth, those were the first times, really, like in my life that as I was allowed to go out and be an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, me and, 3 guys from the football team, we're going I'm 14, 15 years old. We're just going to go fishing for 3 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm like being in, like, the first time I ever did that, I was probably 14 or 15. And we went up to Woodland Park, Colorado, and we just the best experience. We stood in front of a liquor store and waited for people. Hey, dude, could you buy us some beer?
Yeah.
Shoulder tapping.
Some freaky like tweaker was like, say I'm not a cop, and we're like, I'm not a cop, and the guy was like, say I swear to God I'm not affiliated with the cops. And do you know Sam Talent?
Yeah.
See, it was me and Sam Talent when we were kids.
Oh, shit.
Sam was like a big old. He looks like an adult when we were kids. I swear to God, I'm not affiliated by the cops. We had to like wait behind this Safeway, and this guy gave us a 30-pack. We gave him like $50. And he like tossed it in the back, and like Yeah, boys.
Go.
And then we went back and got wasted, and I lost my buddy's night bobber, and we could see it going down the hole. He was so, like, we'd be drinking, and he'd just look, and he'd be down there and be like, God fucking damn it. But yeah, trips like that is always
because true fishing beer only comes in 30 packs. That's the thing. Like,
and it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna drink 30 Busch Lights. That was my budget for this weekend. Also, yeah, just like sending kids to town. Like, because when we would do that, we'd always like, all right, you send the fire, you go back to town and get us food. And not one time we were on a fishing trip, we sent Sam Talent to get us food. I don't know. I think he went to McDonald's or some shit, but he came back with like a case of root beer and like 10 bags of marshmallows. And that's just what we had for the rest of it. It was so shitty.
Oh my God.
It was so shitty. And then we found some mushrooms and we just wandered around all night. It was just like shit like that. It was like, that's funner than anything. Or like, yeah, I used to go to Lake McConaughey in Nebraska a lot of fun memories out there. Killed a snake. Yeah. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Although it's not that fun to go any there because the tide's going in so much. Like McConaughey used to be huge, and now it's like every year you go back, it's like way.
Just like less rainfall.
Yeah. I think it's just, I don't know, man. It's like a lot of traffic there because, like, you know, we used to go up there as kids too. That's the first time I ever peed outside of a moving vehicle. Peed out the back of my friend's truck. Yeah, just all that good stuff.
Which require that's a skill. That's a skill, actually. You know, that's something
it's not comfortable.
Yeah,
it's not accurate.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, it's a stupid thing to do. It's a stupid, dumb young boy thing.
Yeah,
It's literally pissing in the wind.
Yeah, because the thing is that you have to keep one knee on the. If I remember this correctly, you have to keep one knee on the wheel well of the bed, and then you kind of have to do a bit of a lunge thing where it's like I can't.
You have to do the warrior pose.
Well, no, you have to. It's up your knees on this, and then you have to keep it out like with a lunge and lean over.
You have to angle your shit into the wind.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to like stick your pelvis over the bed of the truck. And then you have to aim
pee
downwards.
And then you have to pee like you're in this precocious, and then you have to make your pee come out of your body.
You have to aim down at a 45-degree angle because if you go straight down, it pops back up.
It really has the science of this whole thing down.
I was gonna say, I thought lighting a smoke in the back of a pickup truck was hard.
No, man, peeing.
It's
not easy.
Because lighting a smoke in the back of a pickup truck is you can just do the thing where you stick your kind of go down like that.
Well, I'm not saying that's exactly how I burned a shirt when I was a kid. But that's how I burned a shirt.
I used to have plenty of undershirts that had like the one dot right here.
Oh man,
but yeah, I wish I had one specific story for you, but no, I never. There was one time I went to my friend's stocked pond in Elizabeth. And we were just killing them, and it was like probably the most fish I ever caught.
Yeah.
And then his girlfriend caught more than me, and like eclipsed my day.
The two that are kind of like legendary in my family anyway. My mom and I and my dad were out at a friend's pond fishing, and we were just been catching brim all day, and we were hooking them to the line and just sticking the line in the bank, just letting them swim around. And something kept eating them off the line. And we're just like, God damn it. We'd pull it up, and we thought it was a snapping turtle. We were like, it's a fucking turtle. Like, it got to be.
This is in Alabama?
This is in Alabama. And then my mom caught I think it was 11-pound catfish.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dad cut it open, and out of the belly fell all of the brim. This motherfucker had been eating.
Great.
Well, that's a bonus. You recaught everything you caught that night.
That's a
and I watched my dad stand there and have a moment where he's like, am I going to fillet up this and feed it to my family? And then he did.
Yeah, you got to, man.
Yeah.
It was
11-pound cat.
It was huge. Yeah.
What time of day was it at?
Right at dusk.
Yeah.
And it was summer, so it was swampy as hell. It was in the 80s, super duper humid, right at dusk, and we'd been catching nothing but brim since 2, 3 in the afternoon. And then right at dusk, my mom caught that big ass catfish, and we were like, "Well, there went all of our goddamn brim."
Yeah,
so nothing but brim is a pretty common day fishing as it is.
Yeah, especially down south. But there's that one, and then the other one was we were deep water fishing out by some oil rigs off the coast of Alabama in the Gulf of Mexico, and I was with my buddy Ryder. We'd been catching mostly just bluefish, big ones too, and it was great day of fishing. And then we caught something that we thought was going to be like a huge mackerel. Like I think Ryder got it on his line, and there's like the rod was like bent all the way in half and stuff. And we're like, this isn't above the test. So we like hooked it to the winch, and we started winching in this fish.
Man.
Like,
you must have been so excited.
We were like, this is going to be something fucking crazy. And when it came out, it was a bonita that we'd hooked through the eye.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. So it's an inedible, like, oily-ass fish that we'd just hooked through the eye.
You can eat bonita, but it takes a lot of lemon juice. You got to soak that thing in lemon juice. Because I've caught bonitas before. I caught a big bonita one time, and I got it cut up and stuff like that. And you apparently have to soak it in lemon juice for like 3 days
so you just have
or
to
something.
turn it into ceviche, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
Sometimes it might not even be. That doesn't even feel worth it.
Yeah, I know. And then the thing was that my the car started stinking, and we were just like, everybody's like, oh, it's the fish. We got to throw away the fish. I'm like, no, we ain't throwing away this fish. This thing was huge. It's the only fish we caught on this fishing trip. And it ended up that my uncle stepped in a bunch of like fish guts and just was dragging the fish gut. You know, it was just like,
he was the one who stank the whole time.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you had to throw away the damn bonita because, and it was my prize bonita.
Yeah.
It was one of those fishing trips where they were like, all right, biggest fish gets $50. First fish gets $50. Well, joke's on them because I caught the only fish. Double down, yeah. And I was 15, so $100 was like a fortune. Yeah, it was a fortune.
I caught a 28-inch striper with a drop line once.
Really?
Yeah.
Where? What was the situation?
All right, this was odd. Remember the last time you mentioned Gloucester by the Sea or whatever?
Manchester by the Sea?
It was somewhere near one of those, like near Gloucester or Salem, Massachusetts, at a reservoir. And there was like this a swampy kind of pond part. And we threw out these drop lines. This was me, my Uncle Tommy, neighbor Frank, and another fella. And we threw out these drop lines, and one of them eventually got like a bite. And so he's pulling this thing in and pulling this thing in. It takes 4 of us to do it.
Because stripers fight. That's like a tough
Well,
thing.
he went into the reeds. That was like, we was out pulling it in, and eventually my uncle there had to wade out and just get it in the reeds, and we caught that thing.
Striped bass fight. Bonitas. But the thing with the winch is like bonitas are really tough to reel in.
Well, and especially when you
it'll take like 40 minutes.
Well, especially when you hook it through the damn eye.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, not the mouth. Yeah,
that is disgusting. I remember actually my uncle when a kid to fish, he stabbed it through the brain, and I thought that was a little unnecessary.
Yeah, we let the bonita go. We're like, well, you've been.
He just stabbed it through the brain.
Well, he couldn't kill the damn thing. I said, just leave it out or gaff it or something.
Yeah, hit it with a stick.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Instead, he stuck the knife in its head.
That's exactly.
Some people live for the thrill of the game. You know what I mean? Some guys like get old school.
Doesn't Jason kill somebody like that?
I think so.
No, like Steven Seagal killed somebody like that in Under Siege. I remember that distinctly.
That's my fishing style.
Yeah, 2 take homes from Under Siege when I was a kid. Erica Liniak and Seagal just stabbing some dude through the top of the head.
Man, I bet you he fishes.
Oh, Seagal? Oh, I bet he fishes with his mind, baby.
Yeah. I bet you he does noodling. I bet you he's a noodler.
He lives in Louisiana.
Does he really?
I thought he lives in Russia now.
Oh, has he defected?
Sure, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was not who I
days, it was
thought
the
was
other
going to
way.
bail. Steven Seagal.
Well, that Steven Seagal Lawman. He was a cop in New Orleans.
Yeah, which was great. It was like one of the suburbs, like Medair or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a place they don't need cops as much.
Where you can be fat and have a goatee.
Yeah. You're just going to bust like teen parties. Yeah. Which would be great. Imagine drinking in Steven Seagal.
Well, did you ever see that show?
No, I never
That
watched
show
it.
rules.
Is it great?
Yeah.
Like the funniest part is like the part that it's part of it. It's basically half cops, the show cops, and then but Steven Seagal's there, and then the best part of the show is like after he's done arresting the person and like the matter is settled. Somebody else will just like invariably walk up and be like, "I just love your movies," like, and they'll just fanboy out on.
Well, no, because every guy he arrests on that show is essentially Ronnie Dobbs from Mr. Show. Like everybody he arrests, and very like every episode, one of them is just like, "Hey man, you're Steven Seagal, holy shit!" And like he's just like, "That's very disrespectful to the other police officers to make such a comment while you're being detained." And it's just like,
Holy fuck you! I'm getting arrested. You're Steven Seagal. I'm gonna talk about it. That's a crazy stance. Disrespect. I'm going to jail. Fucking at least I'm gonna tell everybody Steven Seagal took me. Like, who gives a shit about Randy? I know this guy.
Yeah.
I wish I had ever gotten in an altercation with police with Steven Seagal. I got a kid I went to football with. I played high school football with. Took me to jail one time, and it was like the worst. It was the worst. It was the worst. He thought it was so funny. He was like, "Oh man, you're living in California now. You know how many kids I've had from our high school like riding in this thing?" And I'm like, "You fucking asshole!" But if Steven Seagal, if it had been Seagal, I would have been like, I'd have walked in there 10 feet tall, man. And guess what I just fucking did? He fought Steven Seagal. That's why I'm here.
I took a swing at the star of Under Siege 2, The Dark Territory.
Give me your extra juice.
Oh yeah, you said somebody threw a fish at you.
Oh yeah, shit. Fucking yeah, at Lake McConaughey in Nebraska.
Wait, Lake McConaughey?
Yeah. Have you been there in Ogallala?
No, I was just thinking, that's got to be some Matthew McConaughey relatives.
Oh,
It's named after. Right?
I never even thought about that till you just
Surely,
said it.
that's where that group is from.
Lake Matthew McConaughey, Ogallala, Nebraska. They have a lot of festive T-shirts that say "Get sand in your crack at Big Mac," which is festive. It was always a good time. I kissed my buddy's aunt there. It was just always.
Wait, what?
Yeah, man. It was like, man, it got real weird up there. The more I think about it, but I definitely kissed my buddy's aunt on the mouth.
Whoa.
Because then she was like, "Show me your wiener," and my buddy was like, "Don't show my aunt your fucking dick."
I have to be at Thanksgiving this year. He was just like, don't bone my aunt.
He's one of my best friends in the world. He's like, "Whatever you fucking do, man." But we were up there and we were hanging out, and I was just walking around one day, and my buddy had found a carp in like a tide pool. He had just found a dead carp, just fat, bloated, nasty, gross carp.
Yeah.
And I was walking, and I hear like footsteps, and then like, "Hey, David!" And I turn around, and I just get hit on the arm with this big, fat, nasty carp. And I'm like, "Oh, dude, you're a piece of shit." And then I get home, and my arm starts bubbling up, and turns out I got strep on my arm.
Oh, God.
It was fucking disgusting. I had to go to the hospital, and they had to like wipe it with a metal brush.
Yeah.
It was like one of the worst experiences
fuck.
ever. But yeah, Jason Hatt hit me with the carp, so he might actually listen to this because he is my fishing buddy. So if you are listening to this, a big fuck you.
Yeah. We were at I was in Boy Scouts, and we were camping one time, and somebody who had like killed a deer had just like gutted it, right?
Yeah.
And just threw the stomach into a creek. And it had just started growing and growing, and it was
because the gases are like,
it was huge. And so when we found it, it was as gross as it got, and we saw it, and there was a bunch of people down there, and this is one of the worst things I've ever done to my friends. But I was standing on top, and I found a big ass rock.
No.
And I let everybody else go down to the creek bed first. And then I chucked the rock down, hit the deer stomach, and dude, like,
That's hideous.
green and yellow shit just like squirted out everywhere, and got people on their feet and stuff. So it wasn't that bad, but
That's
yeah,
that is so gross.
it was one of the grossest things I've ever done.
What else is up there?
Yeah,
with
what
that
is the
shit?
grossest? Oh, that's
no,
man, that's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, that's hideous.
I
couldn't
can't
resist.
Yeah, I can't.
What an asshole you!
I know.
I know. The part of this show has been me telling stories from my youth, and I get 10 seconds into the story, and I realize, like, oh, I'm the bad guy in this.
Yeah, how could you think anything different?
I don't know. Well, because you told me, like, oh, a guy threw a dead fish at me. I'm like, oh, I got a story like that. And then
I threw a cow stomach.
I threw a rock into a cow stomach or a deer stomach, and it exploded on my friends.
Did it make a noise?
It was in the water, so it was a big splash.
Okay, but you don't know because I feel like you popped that seal, it would make like a.
If it had been on hard ground, it probably would have made a
Yeah.
noise. But it was in the water, so it was just all liquid noise. noises.
That's
Just a
disgusting.
Oh God, that's so hideous.
Because I'm not good with guts and stuff. Either. I've seen people like dress steer. I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah, cleaning a fish is as far as I go.
Yeah, and that's easy, especially when you do that shit where you pull the jaw and then you can kind of get the whole thing out.
Yeah.
Real fast. Totally fine. Yeah, cleaning an animal is gross.
Yeah, that's pretty hideous.
I don't have the heart for it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to go. I went fishing quite a bit, and the thing that we used to do a lot was under the bridge fishing. That was like that because in Florida there's the causeways that go over.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah. So you go under the bridge fishing. I used to my normal fishing spot where if I wanted to catch something for real, I'd go to my dad's work, and he worked over by the Navy base, and there was a jetty there where it was brackish. So you would get like some saltwater and some freshwater fish there. So you can catch flounder, you can catch all that sort of thing. So it was real nice. But if you just wanted to fish for the gathering, you would go under the bridge. And the thing was where the causeways were, every 3 years where the rivers there, the Indian River, the Banana River, huge ecological disasters always happen. It's like the red tide to end all red tides. That'll come up like just massive fish kills and things like that. And I have caught some hideous looking catfish in there. Just like, I don't even you don't eat them because you'd probably get really sick. But even if you couldn't get really sick, you don't want to kill these fish because they're survivors.
Yeah,
and they're
too strong.
Like the one bugged out eye, or just like the cleft jaws. You're just like, oh my god!
It's like, what do you call it?
It's with a hair lip. That's why they have mustaches.
Yeah,
it's
just
like the Morlocks and have you guys read
time machine?
They just live in the sewer, just these nasty survivors.
Yeah, just like I saw a fish. It had like it must have been a second generation one. 2 tails, like a mini kind of unformed tail on the side of its real tail.
Fucking Simpsons, remember that shit?
Yeah, with the 3-eyed fish.
Yeah,
what was that called? Blinky?
Yeah. Sounds like you're fishing like Chernobyl or something.
Yeah, because it's like one of those things where it's just like massive ecological problems because it's just all this runoff from everything essentially, plus like golf courses, all that sort of stuff, and it just goes in there and like the whole just massive just disasters that are there, and which is always funny because it always invariably requires Rick Scott to beg for money from the federal government, which is always an irony because he's just like but yeah, no, there's like one fish that like I caught and it was like normally catfish is like kind of that grayish brown color.
Yeah.
I caught one that was like black and white TV gray. And it was just like,
man, that's a mutant. That's straight up a mutant.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an abomination.
Yeah.
Pat's fucking, what do you call them? Taxidermist has PTSD from the shitty.
Yeah, well, no, you just but like if you go bass fishing, the bass fish are fine. You go in the swamps; they're it's great fishing.
Florida's
there.
like notorious for great bass fishing.
Yeah, and you go out there and you can catch whatever, and it's fantastic. But like if you just go bridge fishing and get like a 30 rack of natty ice, and you just sit underneath there, you will see the horrors of biology right there. It's just you're catching mutants,
Oh man, that almost sounds more exciting.
Yeah, no, just X-fish,
We are real bad to fish.
Oh, we
That's like a people. We're not super. They don't got a good setup going on.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking you were catching all those fish that are survivors and stuff that if you ate them, you would get that fish's PTSD.
Yeah.
Or you'd get its powers.
Yeah, exactly.
I grow 2 dicks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not much, unless it's trout fishing, I usually release the stuff. Or like if I catch a good flounder, if I catch trout, because trout's one of my favorite fish to eat.
Right.
Anything else, I'll release it. But like, yeah, some of those things I caught them. I'm like, dude, I should just put you out of your misery just for the sake of the breeding stock of future fish, because you don't know what kind of Frankenfish is going to show up 3 fish down the line.
Well, that's
you
actually
should take pictures of this shit.
I have a picture of one, but I think my phone's dead.
That's a Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
that's
just some hideous looking.
Hanging out under the bridge. Nothing good ever comes of it.
Yeah. Well, as Anthony Kiedis told us.
Yeah.
That's where under the bridge in Florida is where I
caught that fish.
Where I caught that fish. As far as eating goes, what does everybody have a preference for favorite fish to eat? Because I am a red snapper for my saltwater fish and catfish for my freshwater fish. Those are my favorites.
Catfish is your number one freshwater fish.
Assuming it's fried. Like I'm talking deep fried.
Yeah.
If we're talking like grilled, smoked, any of that shit, then no. But as far as just like shit, I'm gonna put it in a skillet or in a deep fryer.
Yeah, you could do it Thai food style, but that's way too many steps.
No, I'm not fucking with that. No, if I'm doing, and I honestly like as far as like seafood goes, like I like smoked fish a lot. I like fried fish. I'm not the biggest fan of any other preparation style of fish. But
really, you don't ever like bake like a piece of salmon or something like that?
No, I'm not a big salmon guy. I love like crab and I love basically every other kind of seafood more than I like fish.
Yeah,
but I like the act of fishing more. But yeah, I'm more of like a crab. Shrimp is.
You ever gone crabbing before?
Well, we threw traps off of a
That's going crabbing.
Yeah, so I guess it was funny. My buddy Jingles had this beach house, and we went down there for summer one year. And it was on Cotton Bayou in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and there are just fucking crabs everywhere.
That's the best,
and it's next to a marina, so you get free fish heads.
Ooh, there's the one with the bug eye.
You found one?
Look at the eye on the side.
Hey, Daddy, that thing is gnarly. Look at that. It looks like it has like. It looks like it came up from it got the bends, like it came up from the depths too fast. Fuck, that is gnarly.
Pat, you'll have to send that to me. We'll put that on our Twitter. You'll see Pat's bug-eyed fish at the Goods Pod.
Fucking Toxic Avenger.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a great movie, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
A real fun.
He lived it fishing.
Yeah, Jesus.
But yeah, we could get fish heads and stuff to put in the traps like just for free for the marina next door. And so while we were all like, hanging on the beach partying and shit, we would dump a cage in the thing, and we forgot about it one night. And we came back like 12 hours past when we were supposed to pull it up, and it was like literally like you couldn't fit another crab in the cage.
Yeah, they're just all in there.
They were all like just jammed in there, and I was like,
they're stupid motherfuckers.
We just had a crazy feast. It was the best. Blue crab too.
We'd go crabbing when I lived in San Francisco, but it's like the bay's so gross.
Dude.
Yeah. We would never have like a full-on like crab, but we'd get some and put them in like guacamole.
Man, that was like one of the most like fucked up things I've seen. I saw in San Francisco at the Embarcadero, like right where that little behind the ferry building where you're looking out over the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys out there that are fishing, and
those dudes go for it.
we were out there, and we like walked out just to look at the bridge and like take some pictures and shit. And there was a guy who had been crab fishing who I think had tried to eat a raw crab.
Oh God!
And was like. I guess didn't know he was allergic to shellfish and was like going into like anaphylactic shock and shit like that. And we had to like find the paramedics on the other side of the ferry building and be like, hey, we're around back and stuff like that.
That's why you shouldn't
smoke meth and crabfish.
Well, you just should know. Somebody should have taught you. You fucking didn't know that you were allergic.
Well, and they were just eating it raw too. Like I saw after they picked the guy up, and I think they gave him an EpiPen and shit, and they got him to a hospital. But like after he was gone, we saw the crab. They weren't cooking it; they were just eating that shit like out of the crab. I was like, out of the San Francisco Bay.
The Bay is so gross.
So gross.
Yes.
Although we used to catch crab on Crissy Field, which is like right where the Bay comes. Like Alcatraz is over here, and this is where we.
Oh, okay,
it wasn't as bad over there.
Well, yeah.
It was closer to, you know what I mean?
Not near the port or anything
but
like that.
Off the Embarcadero, that's disgusting.
Yeah, next to the ferry building, it's all gasoline and stuff in the water over there.
Yeah,
it's gross.
yeah. What? Oh man.
But
Yeah.
no.
Do you have a preference for eating fish?
You know what? I'm kind of like I don't eat a lot of seafood. I like fishing, and mainly as an excuse to do nothing.
Right.
It's fun,
Yeah.
but
Good reason to not do shit.
I mean, anything you catch that's any good, like that striper was good.
Yeah.
I like catfish, but only if it's fried.
Yeah.
See, I eat fish is my thing.
Yeah, Dr. Pat's our resident pescatarian.
Oh, dude,
so,
I love. The only thing I don't mess with is something that's super duper fishy. Like I'm not a big like mackerel guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't. Mackerel just isn't my thing.
Mackerel is bait.
Or herring. Like I just can't. Like my wife eats that stuff, and I'm just like, how?
Yeah, herring is weird to me.
That's pretty much all people catch off the Santa Monica Pier. It seems like.
Herring?
Yeah. It looks like they're just catching little herring and stuff.
But no, I love fish. Like my favorite. I love eating trout. Trout's my favorite. But like, there's so many like really good. Because I try and do things kind of sustainable, so I don't usually mess with anything that's like really protected or like the things that like you need to maintain the populations of. But like I eat a lot of catfish because catfish, it's just like the farms are clean. They just spawn so much that
it's like it's a good one.
It's a good one to go for, and you don't feel as bad because they're just underdeveloped.
I like really basic. I like any kind of whitefish.
Whitefish is cool.
Just like straight. I like it pretty bland. And then like, what was that? I went to make a catfish sandwich the other day, and I bought everything, and then I went to the Safeway over in Eagle Rock. They didn't have catfish, but they had, what was it?
Swai.
I made swai fillet.
That's a different, that's an Asian catfish,
right?
Yeah.
It was not bad, but it was like I already had my way. I was frying them,
right?
You know what I mean? So it was like fine, but it was like, swai was pretty okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish I was a catfish swimming in low, the deep blue sea. I have one good pretty woman fishing after me, fishing after me.
Dave, did you used to watch fishing shows at all? Because that's like
I played.
Because you mentioned
video
like
game on Xbox, but that's about it. Okay. There was one on the first Xbox, so it was kind of fun. But yeah. What I don't even remember what it's called. But no, I never really watched that many fishing shows. I watched hunting shows, and I'm not like a hunter.
Yeah.
I just like it's like fine for the background, but I never really watched a lot of fishing shows or like competitions. Like my buddy who threw that carp at me.
Yeah.
He would watch like contests and stuff.
Oh, those things are always a trip because it's like it's just a bunch of fishing and then the weigh-ins and all these guys have their own like signature dances and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
really?
you just see some total redneck guy just start spinning on his head breakdance style like it's in the
practicing.
like he's in the like he's in the fucking Soul Sonic crew and he's just
How does it? Do they weigh in every day? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
They store them in the live well. And
well, they always they weigh them in and then they bring the biggest one and then they weigh the biggest fish.
Remember the Alabama Fish and Game Guide I got in Birmingham?
Yeah.
There was an article in that about people cheating.
Yeah.
And they go out and they have the fish stored in the boat and they come back. And
No
they,
way.
Yeah.
Or they
Like
put weights in them, like they'll put lead weights under the skin, or they'll fill them full of cornmeal or something like that.
That's a bummer. Well, I mean, I guess that's like high stakes, right?
Yeah.
You want a lot
Some of them
money.
have some good prizes.
You want a lot of money.
Yeah, but think about it, if you go down, you don't want to be the Lance Armstrong of fishing. Just
I want to be the Pete Rose of fishing.
oh fuck.
Yeah, because I used to watch Bill Dance,
Bill
and that
Dance.
show is the best.
Is it just like is that like a fishing guide or is it a contest?
No, okay. So Bill Dance is this guy from Tennessee, and you know he's from Tennessee because he always wears a Tennessee hat, and he is
Vols?
Just, huh?
Yeah,
the
Vols
Vols.
hat.
Yeah, Tennessee Vols.
Always
hat.
the same kind of Tennessee Vols hat, no matter if it's 1980.
Yep.
Like it kind of changes with the style, but it's always the orange brim, white Vols hat with the big T on
big
it.
orange T.
Classic.
And he his whole thing is like, as a fisherman, I'm sure he's great.
No, he's terrible.
Well, here's the thing with Bill Dance.
He just has a lot of gadgets.
Yeah, he has a lot of gadgets. I've never seen the show. All I've seen is the outtakes. And the outtakes from his show are the greatest thing. We're going to put them up on our Twitter at The Goods Pod. And if you're feeling down in the dumps, ever, any of you out there, if you're just like, man, just like life just sucks right now, put on Bill Dance bloopers, and it's fucking great because he's an idiot. And he
Is it just like, how do you get that job if you're not a good fisherman?
Well, no, the thing is, like, he does things like, for instance, there's one point where he's talking to the camera and he's just like, well, we got all the stuff we need for a good day on the water. We got our tackle box, and he's putting stuff into the boat one at a time. And he goes, we got our tackle box, we got our bagged lunches, and we got our battery. And he picks up the battery, and the battery's heavier than he thought, and he just falls in the water with the battery.
or he'll throw
Wait, a
the.
battery for the boat?
Yeah, like the trolling motor battery.
Oh, why did that seem unnecessary?
It's
for
weird.
The checklist.
Yeah.
Or there's he'll just be like, all right, we're going out fishing. And then he'll like slam the tailgate of the truck and snap all the rods.
Yeah.
Or there's ones where he just gets like hit by panning cameras. Like just like about to do like his spiel at the beginning. And then like the camera comes around and knocks him on his
Like
head.
Inspector Clouseau.
My favorites are always the two-parters. There's always great two-parters where he'll like cast and he'll knock off his hat and he'll be like, oh man, that's not my Vols hat off, and then he'll like lean over and the boat will just capsize.
Oh my god! I guess it would be clunky to be in. Is he just in a little boat?
Yeah, he's in like a John boat.
Yeah,
That's like I can see how that would be like tough to like.
There's one where he's casting and it goes up in the tree above him and he's like, oh god damn it, and he's like trying to pull the thing out of the tree and a fucking snake falls out of the tree and lands on his head.
Yeah, the two parts are always great. Yeah, because it's the setup and it's just like the complete reversal where it's just like and it causes tons of damage. Like
I was gonna say I've been there with the tree thing. That happens to
but then a snake falling on you is insane.
Man,
Anybody can do the tree, but it takes real talent to pull out a snake.
the snake is where he's gonna make his money.
Or the ones where it's like the thing where he'll like not connect the boat trailer properly.
Oh yeah,
and he'll try and
pull the boat away and it's still on the trailer.
Yeah. And then the trail, but then he'll like get out, and then like the truck just roll backwards. Into the, like,
well, what's great about it is he's always having an active dialogue with the camera crew while it's happening. So like they're backing him into the water, and they haven't detached the boat from the trailer, and so he's just in the water, and somebody goes, hey Bill, is there something wrong with the boat? He's like, I don't know, it's not going. He's like, oh, am I still attached to the trailer? And he just has him drive the whole thing back up and try it again.
Yeah.
There's one where he's tying flies, and he's just like, well, I'm not much of a fly fisherman, but I've been working tying these flies, and I'm finally finished. And we're gonna try a little fly fishing today. And he goes to pick up all the rods, and there's a ceiling fan above him, and all the rods snap. he makes it a point to be like, I've been tying flies all day. Like it was just
that's such a
he's been working on it all goddamn day.
But the thing he always gets most disheartened by is if he gets his new Vols hat like gets destroyed.
Oh, that's
like,
my new hat.
He's just like, oh, that's my new Vols hat.
There's one where he's digging for worms with his granddaughter, and his granddaughter's like she's like a real little kid, and she's standing next to him, just like kind of looking at him. And he's like, well, now it's time to dig for some worms. He's got his shovel, and he steps on the shovel and hits the water line for his own sprinkler system, and all the water just comes shooting up on him. He's just like, oh God, Grandma's gonna kill us. It's the best.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic. I mean, it's like one of those ones that's never a letdown. Because I remember when Deion Sanders got his fishing show, where he was the new host of New American Sportsman, but it was like so like he was so sedate because he was like the first one. Like I read the quote to Rivers earlier on where he's just like, I'm Deion Sanders. People know me as Prime Time, but I'm also an outdoorsman. So it's like outdoorsman.
Does he wear a
Deion
suit,
Sanders?
like
No.
a real tree suit or something? When
I want like
he'll
his
wear
baitcaster to say prime time on it.
He'll wear sometimes wear the like Kangol hats out into the like when he's fishing.
Wait, like LL
He
Cool
was
J?
a flashy.
but he's like wearing like he's LL
Dude,
Bean
if you-
from the neck down, and then he's got like
LL Cool J from the neck up.
but he's got like the Kangol like kind of,
If you had like the classic like red LL Cool J Kangol hat, but with like
but not the
lures-
bucket.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Not
Oh,
the
that'd be
bucket.
amazing.
He's wearing like the Samuel L. Jackson one, but worn the other way. You know.
He is a man of many flavors.
Yeah, I know.
Appreciate. Did he catch? Was he nailing
He was
it?
pretty good, and then he would have like
He would be. Some guys are just good at shit.
Yeah, and he'd have celebrities on and stuff like
And they
that.
would go
Yeah,
fish with him?
Yeah, go fishing and go hunting with them and
That
stuff
would be
like
cool.
that. Yeah,
Look at that.
that seems like the best kind of outlet for like a project to have. Just have like a fishing show.
Yeah, it
And-
seems like a really easy. Like it's probably like easy to make.
Yeah.
You have a ton of fun people on it and stuff like that.
We should work on this,
Guys,
guys.
you make a fishing show. I never even thought about
Well,
it.
you can go fishing in Kenneth Hahn Park. So
Like what?
In Culver City.
In an oil well?
No, they have a stock pond there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't know that. Well, fuck. We should go do that.
Yeah, we should go down
We should do a follow-up to this. Do a live one from the pond.
Yeah.
Where we're just fucking laughing and making noise and pissing everybody off. It'll be great.
They have man, because I feel like ever since I came to California, I feel like I just don't see a lot of people fishing at all. I guess it's just not.
Well, LA is super
I go to the
dry.
pier. I see it on the pier all the time.
Yeah, but
what
that's
it is.
nasty fishing.
It is nasty.
Like
They pulling out-
there's certain fish that you just can't eat that you pull
Yeah,
out.
it looks like mackerel and herring and shit that looks like bait.
Yeah.
That's not like fun.
Where's your favorite place to fish? If you could transport anywhere magically for the afternoon.
What is those ponds in Denver? Or I guess it's technically Thornton, up north of 110th. Because it's like hard to explain, but you would walk through it and it would just be like, it would just be this perfect pond that nobody had been around. You know what I mean? It's like way out. This is like the end. So like Denver's here. This is like near the mountains,
Oh,
like
okay,
where
right
there's
on.
like a lot less like developments and stuff like that. Or this place called Bar Triple C in Parker, Colorado. Just a real shit little lake, but that's where we went all the time. Or Chatfield Reservoir in Colorado.
Okay.
So I guess there was a lot of them.
A lot of good spots.
Yeah.
A rod that's lightweight, that's extremely sensitive. Dadgummit. Well, it's sensitive, all right. It's sensitive enough. I felt that fan. Dadgummit. Get another rod.
I've been thinking lately about the people I meet. The car wash on the corner and the hole in the street. The way my ankles hurt with shoes on my feet. And I'm wondering if I'm gonna see tomorrow. Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us, we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. Then we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven.
David, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
Oh, I'm at Twitter at the G is silent, and I'm at Instagram at Cool Guy Jokes 87.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's man.
Is 87 your birth
amazing.
year, or is
Yeah,
it just like there
it's
was
not-
86 other cool jokes guys?
I wish it was even more creative. No, it's just my birth. I didn't think Instagram was gonna catch on like it.
Yeah.
Now it's like too late on my head.
Man, well, yeah. Do yourself a favor. Follow David on Twitter and Instagram, and go watch his Conan set. Just type in David Gborie. It's Gborie. The G is silent. Go find David Gborie and go watch that Conan set. It's fucking great. If he's coming to your town, go see him.
Go see him.
Yeah,
it's a funny man. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. You can find us on Twitter. We're at The Goods Pod. We'll put up Pat's weird fish he caught.
Yeah,
and we're
old bug eye.
That fish is disgusting.
We're on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod. Pat, what should they do when they get to iTunes?
Yo, rate, review, and subscribe. And you remember, if you rate, review, and take a screen capture, send it to us. We'll hook you up with a free t-shirt.
Yeah, we'll send you a shirt.
Because that shows the attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
That's right.
And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude,
fuck you.
I thought it was gonna rhyme. It didn't have to. That's even better.
Be sure to send in those reviews before February 1st. We are more than happy to send you a shirt. So write us a review, submit it to us on our Twitter, Facebook, email. All those are The Goods Pod. Song of the week this week comes from one of my favorite bands, the Pine Hill Haints, who are going to be playing once again at the Waverly Boogie out in Waverly, Alabama. That is on April 22nd of this year. I'm going to be hosting again the headliners, Driving and Crying, and Southern Culture on the Skids. It's going to be a good old time, and I'm going to try to set up actually a comedy show the night before the Boogie. So we'll keep you posted on that and see if we can't get some folks that you know from the show performing out there. So looking forward to that. And this is a song off of the album Ghost Dance. This is the Pine Hill Haints, and the song is the very appropriately titled Catfish Angels. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Wild star that refused to shine. Well, I know you're hanging there for me. So tell me, why didn't I leave for hours ago and leave? You know I shouldn't been hanging around.
boy, distant county. You know they can't hurt like you do. Well, you know they can't hurt me like you do. Wild star, I know you're there. Well, I've seen you glare down County Road 8. Oh, she glows down in Alabama beneath that sweet tea glass. Salty lips and whirling fans shine on catfish angel. You know they can't hurt like you do. Well, you know they can't hurt like you do. Well, she blows down in Alabama beneath that sweet tea glass. Salty lips and whirling fans shine on catfish angel. You know they can't hurt like you do. Oh, oh. You know they can't hurt like you do. Oh, oh, oh. You know they can't hurt like you do.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.